Hey, and welcome back to The Wicked Wild, a feral podcast for the uncivilized horror fans. And we are coming straight off of Camp Wicked Wild, our Year of the Wiener themed special spooky season event. And you may have thought that Year of the Wiener has run its course, and yet the well goes deeper. As I was watching this movie that we're going to review tonight, I'm like, holy crap, like this may be the most wiener movie we've watched so far.
Same.
So,
No.
and we're going to get into it. But before I do, I'm going to talk to my hosts tonight. We've got Eli up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. How are you, my brother?
Well, you know me. I just I do a little bit of this. I do a little bit of that. You know, just to see
How
what
did your
happens.
spooky season stack up for you? You pleased with how things went?
Yeah, it's been really good. It's one for the books.
Well, good. Well,
Yeah,
you know
it's
what
for the books.
season is now, right?
The worst season of the year.
Is it beginning to look a lot
Like hell?
like
Yes.
Christmas?
No. The worst. It's the worst season of the year. It's the worst season of the year. In
Been
every
waiting all week to
aspect
say that
of,
to you.
I know you have, and that's why it's the worst season of the year, because I got assholes trying to spread their holly jolly bullshit, and I don't
Wow.
care. It can all burn down. Listen, if I ever saw
Okay.
Santa, like just doing Santa stuff in the road, I'd hit him with my car.
You're like feisty, and I'm here for it. This is a
Listen,
good,
it's
good
cause
movie
it's
to get on.
Oh, one, love this movie, but two, I'm feisty because you're bringing this holly jolly bullshit.
Merry
That's
Christmas.
That's my new motto for
You're-
this bullshit end of the year. Holly jolly bullshit.
So in your heart, it might as well be August right now, right?
Might as well. Might as well.
Fair enough. Then we've got Jamie up in New York, New York. Forget about it. I'm podcasting here. How's it going, sis?
Trying to see how long I can hold that in, or how far you'd go. I'm doing good.
That's really all I had. That's the only ones I had. So, got a question for you, Jamie, as I'm watching this movie. And this is one you and I have talked about before. We both have a sentimental attachment to this movie. But if you see a creepy little slug crawling out of a meteor that just landed in the woods near you, what's your first move? What are you doing in that situation?
Like an idiot, I'm probably getting closer to look at it.
Well, it's
Have
fair.
I taught you nothing?
No,
I mean-
because no, you haven't. Because
Oh my God. Oh, we're a year and a half of Campfire Tales, and I've taught you nothing.
no, you haven't. You haven't
Oh.
taught me anything.
What-
That's a
what-
shame.
Why is the move to go poke it with a stick? I mean, that is the
Because it's
move,
weird.
right?
It looks like a crawling wiener. First of all, I mean, I have to make sure
You're
someone's
seeing
not
what you think you're
dismembered
seeing.
nearby.
Exactly. Got a rogue wiener on the loose. You can't have that. Got to check it out. Yeah, I think our love for creature features would not serve us well in a real life
No, not
situation
at
like
all.
that, because we
And
would have
also-
to go investigate.
Like now I'm really laughing, and this is a total tangent, but I know Eli's gonna know. But I'm thinking of like it was actually also just on the other day, but when Mr. Garrison wants to become a woman and he's chasing his wiener all over like South Park.
Oh my God. I didn't even think about that. You said that. You're right. Oh, holy shit.
And then,
I was all like,
last but certainly not least, from Detroit Rock City, our own star man or star child,
Oh,
John. What's going on, man?
wow. Thank you, Dave. I did not realize I was so starry tonight.
You are. You're not the demon. You're star. Is it Star
Okay.
Child in Kiss?
I
I'm
think
right,
it's
isn't it?
Star
Yeah,
Child.
that's Paul Stanley, I think.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I only know it from role models. That's how I
Oh my God.
I
Jamie.
love that movie.
Oh,
Gosh.
John does. John
Oh,
has
that
got
movie's
talent.
amazing.
Underrated movie.
I love that movie as well. But
You're
Kiss,
mad at me
who
for
is
only
like the
knowing-
first like horror type kind of rock band.
I know. It's just I
And
never
like
was
you're
into
like,
them. But
oh my God. I remember growing up when they used to do every Halloween, they used to do the concert on Fox, and they like eat the part where Gene Simmons would spit the blood. Oh my God. Yeah. You make me sad. More
When
and
I-
more.
but
one of
role
my-
models. It's a great movie.
One of my first memories when my wife and I got married, we moved to the other side of Tennessee in Memphis. And my first job when we moved to Memphis was I actually worked room service at the Peabody Hotel, which is the big swanky hotel in downtown Memphis,
Yeah.
while I was going to the University of Memphis. And I have this core memory now of I was down in the lobby. I had just gotten off and I was talking to a coworker and she was like, holy shit. And she was staring at these 4 like old dudes sitting in a cafe who just looked like 4 work boots, just beat up, skin hanging off of them, just 4 zombies. She goes, that's Kiss. And I said, shut your freaking mouth. And I looked over and I about lost it. I mean, there's Gene and all. I'm like, those guys should be carpooling their grandkids to the swimming class. That is not the greatest rock band in history. It just blew my mind.
Listen, if you think about it, what other?
No, I'm saying the way they looked. I would have walked right by him.
For sure. But like with people, I don't think give them credit because like besides the Rolling Stones, I can't think of another band that's played continuously as long as they have. Because the Rolling Stones are all what in their like 100s. Yeah. And they're decrepitly up there. We're watching what's his face fucking geriatric rock his hips.
Actually, that references one of the nice posts that John sent to me earlier today on Instagram about
Steven Tyler.
Steven Tyler. It was an image of Steven Tyler like currently, and he's like Steven Tyler looking like what was it, John? The lady
you're your best friend's mom that is cool with you drinking, but just as long as
nobody's tried. It's perfect. He had the granny sunglasses on and the frilly shirt.
But did you see the second pair of glasses he had hanging from his neck?
Oh yeah. Yeah, had his backups.
Listen, I'm convinced if Mickey Rourke lost about 100 pounds, you couldn't tell those two apart.
Just more leather on one than the other. A little more leather.
Well, I let you rephrase that. They lose 100 pounds. One looks like he was beat to death in a boxing match, came back to life. The other looks like an old lady.
Sorry, John. This started.
Oh no, but
and then we got off on.
I mean, we go from Detroit Rock City all the way to leathered-faced rock stars, but it kind of goes hand in hand with what we're going to talk about tonight.
It is the same energy as the movie we're going to. But as I know, and I'm super excited about, this is a first for you on this particular movie, something that we've talked about for the last year that we couldn't believe you hadn't seen. We were really excited to put it on the schedule. This seemed like the perfect time to do it. But as a newcomer to this film, give me your 1 sentence reaction to Slither.
A 1 sentence reaction was
1 sentence.
Okay. I didn't realize it could be that gross.
Yeah. Boom. That's good. That's solid.
That's good. I think that's a good first reaction. I may have had the exact same reaction. But before we get into the actual review, I'm going to hand off to our man on the streets, our wicked journalist, Eli, for this week's Wicked Whispers.
Hey, before I do that, do any of you have plans for in the next couple of months? Any plans you're excited about?
Yeah, the world's going to end.
Just living my best life,
I was just going to say, if you had any trips or anything planned, I would just cancel them because we're not.
I know
it's all over, people. It's done. It's over. Every week, I'm telling you.
Which apocalypse is this now? Are we on 18?
It's been over for
fucking aliens now. Aliens are coming in strong again. The aliens will not be outdone. They will not be outdone. Got 2 little things for you. First off, everybody who follows Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, who you all may remember during the Skinwalker Ranch campfire tale, I educated Dave and John when he left Blink-182, it was to become one of the lead experts on aliens, which I still don't know how the fuck that happened. And now he's working with the government for the UAP project. Yeah, he's been for a while.
But he's also back in Blink-182, so the whole world has come full circle.
I honestly, I think the Blink-182 is just a paycheck to keep funding because this dude buys you could literally shit in a sock and say, this fell from UFO, and he'd probably buy it.
Where do you get these illustrations?
It's all up here. All up here. Anyways, he came out with a cryptic tweet. Actually, I believe it was today. Talking about how we can't blame certain people in the government who didn't tell us the alien stuff sooner because they're just doing their job and doing what they think to protect it. But the people who kept it silent for selfish reasons, they're they're going to be brought to the light and justice will be served. And everybody goes, what does that mean? What do you mean by that? And then he never responded to it, never did a follow-up. So now people are trying to think, like, what the fuck this guy know?
Yeah, and who is he threatening and why?
Yeah, like, what is this? But there's been the last week, there's been the big story, or last week, a small town in Peru. It came out a couple days ago that this small village has been fighting what they say have been aliens for the last month, has been coming and attacking their village. Some of them have taken cell phone videos. Nothing super clear, but things look weird, right? And like, there's people, and like, a lot of people are like, it's not a hoax, because like, people are like, some reporters have gone there, and it's like all these old ladies crying about their villages being attacked by like aliens, and talk about how like they can jump super high, and like they see them floating in the air, and they don't know what they want, and they've been like fighting them every night. And
so
every night,
Dragon Ball Z.
This has been going off. Well, finally, the police in the city, because like they don't have like a town police, it's just like this little thing. They came out to investigate. And according to, this is the fucking police force in this city in Peru. Real police officers said, as of their investigation, they were not able to apprehend anybody, but they believe it's miners with jetpacks trying to infiltrate the local mines of the village.
Miners? Is that what you said?
Miners, like mining coal.
Yeah, like mining, like My Bloody Valentine. Like
Peru,
miners.
the Peru police, the police squad in Peru are convinced it's miners with jetpacks.
Jetpacks.
Sure.
Okay.
What? So what's your problem?
It's just like my mom always said when I was growing up, don't trust a miner with a jetpack. I mean, that's just common.
Yeah.
Now people are like, maybe the UN should get involved, because you have a village who they think they're being attacked by aliens, saying they're watching these things come from space. But their police force is like, miners with jetpacks. You guys got miners with jetpacks, which, like, okay, if you're trying to cover this up or whatever, but like, if I'm the police force in Peru, that's the best thing I come up with.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best thing I come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, miners with jetpacks.
Yeah.
No, which I don't see how you don't
see a problem.
See this.
And then the follow up to that is they're trying to figure this out, right? Well,
they already did. It's miners with jetpacks.
Yeah. It's on the record.
The people who don't believe that miners with jetpacks, they're like scouring the internet, because
so the crazy conspiracy theorists is who you're talking about.
Whoever you want, whatever you want to call them, they've been scouring the internet, because at the time that the hearings came out,
they had hearings about miners with
in Congress.
jetpacks?
They did, yeah. There's been talk of that there was still people in the government who were leaking some of these documents, which there's been leaks going on about this like last year.
Are we still in Peru, or are we now in America?
No, we're in the U.S. now.
Oh, okay.
Well, now all of a sudden there's been some weird leaks coming onto 4chan, which I didn't even know people still fucking used. One of the leaks was this document that looked like it came from a government scientist, talking about how they have proof that these UFOs, the reason like they disappear and move so fast, is that they can create portals that they don't know where they go to. And I know what you're saying, Eli. Well, that sounds far-fetched. Well, how about this one? Then they came out with that these things had these super accurate lasers.
Sure.
And that the government had multiple governments have got a hold of them, and that you watch, they're going to start talking about all these advanced in laser technology. 2 days ago, China announced they're building this Shanghai, they're building a super facility, because they have all these lasers that like have unlimited power and can do all this shit. The UK is partnering with the US. They're building one in the UK because they have they can do all these crazy things with lasers now. So
does theirs have unlimited power too?
Well, I mean,
it's important at this point.
They're not going to say. But I would think probably, because we unlocked fission a year ago. All this shit with technology is happening real fast, and the aliens. So like, hey, all I'm saying, people, if you have a trip planned for, I don't know, probably 6 months from now, I just cancel it. Save your money. Just cancel it. Really, you don't have to save your money. Who cares? It's all pointless. Hey, if you would sit there thinking, man, I really wanted to eat a 1 pound gummy bear, just buy that gummy bear and eat it. Just eat it.
So should I cancel the elfin singing telegram that I've already scheduled for you, Eli?
I would cancel that for a different reason. Because I have also found out a new rabbit hole. TikTok introduced me to the guns that shoot salt. They're not really guns, but like they're like those like guns that shoot salt, like get rid of bugs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I bought it and like I'm using it came with a target. I don't even think I've shot a bug. I keep target practicing shooting salt because my thought process is maybe if like demons and ghosts come up next, I can supernatural this bitch.
Yeah, let's not pretend like you have a thought process.
I do have a thought process. Listen, all I'm saying is I think it's weird. All this stuff's coming out with aliens and like the supernatural and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, Sam's Club selling basically the fucking Winchester salt shotgun that you can just buy willy-nilly. Listen, there's too much stuff going on, people. There's too much going on.
Obviously related, of course.
All of it. All of it. Listen, Dave, I have a board and there's string and I can connect all the dots. Okay, man. I've been boobs deep in this.
Nothing is a coincidence.
Boobs deep?
Boobs deep. I'm up to my boobs in this.
I like that one. I'll give you that one.
Thank
You're allowed to say that one again next week too.
All right, thank you. Well, boobs deep in all this. All right. Listen.
No, you can once tonight.
Well, I'll say it once
next week.
But I'm just saying, you sent me out here into this world to find these whispers, and now I'm seeing the code, man. I'm seeing the code.
Are they whispers anymore? Or are they more like
no,
screams?
they're yelling.
He has yet to whisper.
We should change it. Yes.
Listen, I'm like Paul Revere in this bitch. Okay, I'm saying
not whispers.
They're coming.
Wicked wailings.
Yeah, wicked wailings. Listen, I'm telling you, like Paul Revere, I'm screaming. They're coming. They're coming. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like no one's listening or taking it serious.
All I hear is miners,
because every week you tell us this is it. You can't be final in your statement. And then the next week
gets worse every week.
Yeah,
But
it sounds like we have another.
You're just that guy with that sandwich sign out there saying the end is near.
Yeah, he is. You're
and
the
it's
boy
like-
who cried. You're the boy who cried wolf. Is what you are. And then what's going to happen?
No, I'm not. All I'm is like, if for people that watch Game of Thrones, fucking a Stark, winter is coming. You heard it here first.
Okay.
Winter is coming.
Eli, just get all your notes together, make an outline, and we'll just do a special report volume 2 because it went so well the first time.
Listen, you guys mock me, but we all know who the first person you call when the alien ghosts are trying to break in your door. So I'm saying.
We know where the alien will be. You and the alien will be in Manhattan having a nice dinner.
Well, that's true. That's true.
A nice lunch with Jamie.
That's true.
Where you have a nice vegan something or other.
Well, no,
Jeff will be off somewhere in a jungle punching a chimp in the face.
Yeah. She said, no, not vegan. Jamie said she'd be making pasta and pasta sauce and something good for
That
dessert.
can be vegan.
It can't. Yeah, pasta.
Okay.
Let's.
Moving on.
I feel like
don't
I'm
need to
being
explain how
tricked.
pasta is vegan, but let's by nature.
So we are together this week to review what is actually almost a 20-year-old movie, which blows my mind.
It's crazy.
So a classic, I guess, at this point, creature feature that we've referenced in several reviews leading up to this, which we'll get to here in a minute, those references we made. But before we do that, we're going to get into what we call our On the Fly Synopsis, where I ask one of our hosts a question, and the answer to that question will tell us who is going to have to give the synopsis for this week's movie. None of the hosts, including myself, know who that's going to be. And this week, we're going to have Eli be my interviewee.
Oh.
My question for you, Eli, is how are you going to try to kill the alien infestation? Are you going to burn it with fire? You going to blow it up with a propane tank? Or are you going to try and chuck a grenade into it?
I feel like I would, knowing myself, I would definitely try the grenade first. Because to go after my old boy McCready, who lost that dynamite, I would definitely rainmaker that grenade.
So you would start with the military munitions.
For sure. For sure.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is John. John, tell us about 2006's Slither.
Gosh, when you said this almost 20 years old,
That crazy?
It is crazy. Well, anyways, Slithering is about our boy Grant walking in the woods, coming across a meteor, and it was slithering out of it, and he gets infected, taken over. I'm not even sure what it exactly does, but it basically becomes.
Some might even say he got penetrated.
He did. He got penetrated a few times, and then he did some penetrating of his own later. But yeah, it's like a symbiote almost, and took him over, consumed him and his personality. And then he consumes the town after he turns this poor woman into a breeder that explodes with all sorts of grossness.
The actual word he used in the movie was he turned her into a womb.
Okay.
Thank you.
That is a sight. But yeah, so yeah, we have a bunch of alien slugs that are all one consciousness taking over a town. And then in a grand finale, Elizabeth Banks saves the day. As the human slither blob is consuming itself over and over in one of the more choice, gross scenes.
All it ever wanted was to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
Within the sanctity of marriage.
Oh, but man, what a cast. That's the one thing I took away from this. Is like, this is before everyone was like big.
Yeah, it was a rogues gallery of who's who for the next 10 years of.
Michael Rooker was probably the biggest
though.
actor.
Yeah, I was gonna say though, I think he was already a character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was
Henry.
He was probably the most established too.
Oh yeah, he done 100 movies probably.
Yeah,
if you ever look at his IMDb, it's like 9
he's
years
insane.
long.
And then it was Nathan Fillion was probably
he came
right
off well.
him.
Yeah, but he was also a pretty big name because Firefly. By that point, Firefly had its cult following. Even though it was done. Amy Smart. This was like not Amy Smart. Shit,
Elizabeth Banks.
Thank you, Elizabeth Banks. I always get those two names mixed up. This is probably like her. Like she'd been into some stuff. Like she was kind of young, but she was kind of established.
Yeah, this was at the front end of her trajectory for sure. So we're going to jump in, and John, just as luck would have it, once again, I've got you stacked.
Okay.
Since you're our newcomer to the film, I've got you on deck to give us your review of Slither.
Well, as a first-time viewer in the year 2023, I would say you have to really put the context of the era, because it's right where special effects are getting like really, really good. But also there's some glaring moments of where it's not so fresh. And when it's not so fresh, it's stanky, like real bad. But there's some that you're like, wow, that's like eerily like the special effects makeup of the squid, which is still one of my favorite things, is seeing the map with the squids on it. That was great of the squid sightings. But this movie, I was expecting it to be more comedy than it was, just based on like the cast and James Gunn and obviously his Guardians of the Galaxy vibe, even his Suicide Squad vibe. But I would say this is definitely much more in the tone of Suicide Squad that he did, which isn't a bad thing. It was just, I wasn't expecting so many gross out scenes.
Or Dawn of the Dead. He did that also. And this is very in line. Yeah, he did the remake, which I like.
He directed the remake? I thought that was Zack Snyder.
Yeah, I thought that was Zack Snyder too.
Oh, it's not him?
Are you thinking?
I think he did the
Sorry,
screenplay.
I was confusing it with something
else. I think he wrote it.
Yeah, he was involved with it. I do remember that, but Zack Snyder
writing is a big part of tone.
For sure. But yeah, no, this was a fun movie. The best part about this movie to me was actually the scope. It was very small stakes, very one small town type thing. And that was nice. Like, I'll be honest, this whole like the end of the world, as Eli likes to talk about so much, it's kind of exhausting after a while.
To get your mind around.
Well, I mean, it's like we've just had a string of comic book movies where all we do is like save the world from
the universe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now the multiverse. But no, it was good. It was, I dug it, but you definitely have to wrap your head around. It's like, okay, this is like early 2000s. And it was one of those things, the first revelation. It's like, I never knew what early 2000s like kind of looked like. You know, how we have 80s, we have 90s. It's distinct.
Yeah.
This was very early 2000s. And I feel like I'm starting to get far enough away from it where I can see it.
Yeah. You can define the naughties now.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, I like that term though.
The naughties?
I've never heard that.
I didn't make it up, but I do like it too. I've definitely adopted it.
But yeah, but no, I like this was a I wouldn't say a complete surprise, but it was one of those things that wasn't overhyped for me to the point where I was like completely disappointed.
Well, and that's one of the things and we'll get into it here in a minute. That was the thing that I was most curious about, what your reaction would be having not seen it until recently, because yes, this formula is very well laid track in 2023. In 2006, it was kind of it was a different thing back then. Now he was kind of referencing, and it does come back to, and sorry, I'll get into all my thoughts in a minute, but it does come back to where he comes from the Troma universe.
Totally.
And it's obvious. I mean, Troma is all over the sensibilities of this movie, but in 2006, this was fresh territory in a lot of ways. But anyway, all right, Jamie, did you see this in theaters? What do you think of it?
I did. I think I saw it. I have a very bad memory, so I think I saw it like on a whim. Like, I'm not saying like, it's not like I was like, I don't think I was waiting to see it or even knew much about it. I think I saw it. A friend was in town visiting, and he and I went to see it like after I got out of work. So it was just like a random, like by middle of the week after work, go to the movies kind of thing. I'm pretty sure I came out of it really liking it. I continue to really like it over the years. It's not something, though, that I seek out or watch frequently. And I think that's key to why I really like it. I don't know that I could watch this movie over and over and over again and find it that enjoyable. I find it enjoyable, but I think it's because I watch it infrequently, because I think it loses, like John said, it is a comedy, straight up horror comedy, creature feature comedy. But that comedy would get old pretty fast. It's not a ton of it. It's not like I can sit here and laugh all the time like it's like the friggin' Office or Seinfeld or something. Like, it's just like...
It's got to be a treat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like... And when you watch it infrequently, you could ignore the really bad CGI that's in some spots. But also when you watch it infrequently, then the moments that you like kind of forget about these big moments, like, like John said, he'd been watching it for the first time, some of the gross out things, you're just like, oh shit, I forgot they did that. And it's great, but if I watched it a lot, I don't think I wouldn't enjoy it the way that I do, that I watch it every X amount a year. So now I actually own it because I had to buy it to watch it. So we'll see if I put it on again or I just watch it when it's on, which is how I tend to usually do it. But no, I enjoy this movie. I think, are there some cheesy CGI moments? Yes, but there's also a lot of fun moments. It's short, it's tight. It is classic creature feature modernized for 2006. But great cast, good writing, we'll get into specific moments, but overall it's a fun movie. Like, there's it's inoffensive in a way. Right. So I don't have much to, it's enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. You know what you're getting. Yeah. And that's what I like about movies like this. And I think you're right. I mean, these are not something you watch once a month. I mean, they would wear thin really quickly.
Yes. But
for a treat, if you're in the mood for this movie, there's really nothing else as good as this for the specific lane that it follows. And I would put this in the same kind of mental space for Dave as something like Tucker and Dale, which we've reviewed before. It's the same kind of thing.
I was thinking that, but I think I could watch Tucker and Dale more often than I could watch this movie. I was thinking the exact same movie. It's funny. Like, I was in my mind. Mm-hmm. Again, not that I really seek out Tucker and Dale and put it on often, but I think I could if that was on more, because that's more of a streaming kind of like, but if that was on more, I think I could watch that more than I could probably watch this movie. But
yeah, fair enough. All right, Eli, bring it in here. What you got?
I love this movie. This movie has a special place for me, and right in my heart, because where I grew up at the time, we had poopy dial-up internet. So like, I really didn't go on the internet like through high school that much, and we had poopy satellite TV because we lived in the middle of nowhere. So like, it wasn't even great. So a lot of like horror movies that came out in this time, like when I saw them, it was like the first time I kind of heard about was in the store when I rented them, except for Slither. My first real girlfriend in high school, it was the first time I was invited over to her house. We were going to, hang out, whatever. And she knew I liked horror movies, and they had this on DVD. So they put it on in the background. And like within 5 minutes, I was not paying attention to her family. I was watching this movie, and she learned very quickly that she had to be very selective if I came over what to put on in the background, because I would she would lose you. Yeah, especially if like this movie, like if it's like this movie, because like it was like the first 5 minutes, and like there was a couple. It was like I don't remember what the line it was, but something Michael Rooker says, and I go, "What is this?" And I loved it from that moment. I watched it every couple of years. I like this movie, and like I know people are going to give me shit for this, but I don't care. I'm not saying it is as good, but like I kind of, if I'm pairing movies together, I almost put this with My Python and the Holy Grail, just because there are scenes you watch this movie, and James Gunn, which I wish he still made his movies like this, because I don't think he does anymore. But like it's almost a sense of My Python where like inherently when you look at the scene, it's not funny, but there's like a piece of dialogue or just one line that if you miss it, you're like, okay. But like if you catch it, like it changes the whole thing of that scene. And like I still laugh every time the fact that everybody in that town says we saw that big squid. Like they don't say squid right. Like it still cracks me up. Like there's just so many of these like little one-off lines that kills me. And then two, like all the sexual innuendos in this he's making fun of and like stuff like that. Like this movie's special. And I really like me personally, I kind of think James Gunn has kind of gotten worse. He almost has gotten more commercial and more into a. Of
course he has. Yeah, he's got multi-million-dollar films.
Right. But like I wish except for like when he did was it Brightburn? I was like, oh, yeah. He's coming back. And then like DC's like, hey, he's like, oh, well, fuck it.
I mean, well, he did just give us the first F-bomb in Disney history. That's a pretty solid checkbox.
Yeah, but like,
and it was kind of stupid, but
well, I mean,
which I think was the point. Yeah, I think it was a throwaway, but
like, I mean, honestly, like the Guardians, like the first one was good. Like this one wasn't that great.
The first one's great. No,
so this to me, like if you ask, Slither's probably done to me. That's the best movie he's ever done. Listen, that's just my opinion, man.
Sure,
that's just like my opinion, man.
I will all day
opinions.
Yeah. I will all day defend everybody's right to be wrong.
Thank you. I think the cast he picked was great.
What?
The cast he picked, like Nathan Fillion. I love his whole character arc in this. Rooker does a really good job. Even the guy, I cannot remember his name, that was the mayor, and he was like the dad, the one dad in Gilmore's Girls.
Yeah,
the dad in Guardians of the Galaxy or grandpa.
Oh yeah, he's the grandpa. But I mean, but to this point, I think the only thing I remember him being in before Slither was the Gilmore Girls.
I didn't even know who he was, and I've never seen Gilmore Girls. So
yeah, I wish I could say it too. But he, like the cast is great. A lot of like. I almost think he stole, like not stole, but like I think they based a lot of the looks off of Warhammer, which at the time when this came out, I didn't really know a lot of other people that knew about Warhammer. So like that was kind of cool because they look like the way the mouth looks and some of the tentacle stuff, they look like Poxers from Warhammer 40K, Dave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like, and like, so like I always thought that was kind of cool, but like every part of this movie, I enjoy. I still one of my favorite quotes of all time, which I've talked about before. It's comes to this movie where they talk about you're out touching deer poop, come and make a sandwich next thing you know you got Lyme disease. I still love that line. It's fantastic.
It cracks me up that's the line.
Yeah, I was watching
come on.
Eli loves that line, and I was just like,
that was
because you have to understand, like this movie looked like a satire of where I grew up.
I was going to say this place looked like West Virginia.
I like they had that big dance before deer season, and like that.
You mean the deer cheer?
The deer cheer, that's right. That's like shit they did where I grew up, and like just the way the people acted and the way they talked, and so like that, like I knew people in town who I could see saying that Lyme disease line, and it cracked me up because I remember like I think it was I can't remember if it was when I was in high school, if it was the one bird flu or the one pig flu or whatever, and they're talking about and like to listen to some of the hillbillies I grew up with talking about how they were gonna get it because like you go out there and you're shoveling the pig shit out the sty. Next thing you know, you're coughing. You got the pig flu, which isn't how that works. But like that's what they thought. And like, but so like there's this whole movie. Like I love this movie. I watch it every couple of years. I just love it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful movie, and I kind of wish James Gunn would go back to like. I mean, I get it. It was like his young days, indie days, but like,
yeah. I mean, when when Disney is cutting the check for several $1 million, they might have a little influence on your ability to
Oh
do
yeah, like I just
and he might. I mean, like we all said, he comes from Troma. That doesn't leave you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he'll do something again that will be like.
I hope so. And
he has enough money to do whatever he wants. Think of that too. Like he's one of those people now that could just put out a passion project.
I don't know. He's I don't know if he's enough time. He's in charge of DC. Like he jumped. Like he had that Marvel money and then he jumped right into DC. Like I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe one day he'll do something. But like I kind of worry if like he's like.
Well, I think that's kind of what he's doing with his HBO series. What's the guy from the
Peacemaker?
Peacemaker. That's why he just throws all his crazy stuff.
Yeah, but like even that, like Peacemaker was really just it's like the same type of like writing comedy like we get because like part of the reason like one of the complaints I had with Suicide Squad that he did was like it was pretty much and I get it's a wacky team, but like there are huge differences and like he pretty much was just a copy and paste of Guardians of the Galaxy just with DC characters over it. And like so much so that he literally took King Shark, who was like actually like this a totally different character, and he made him Groot. So like I don't know, like I said I hope one day he comes out with another like indie smacker like this, but like I don't know, I kind of feel like this was peak and then no more.
Until that point, you still have this movie. So you still have this. So.
I do have this movie.
So for me, this is in regular rotation. But to Jamie's point, regular rotation means I might watch this once a year. It's a specific vibe. It's a specific thing that I'm wanting. That this hits the spot for me. I didn't get to see this in theaters, and I went back and thought about why I wouldn't, because this is the kind of movie I would have seen. But I don't know. I don't remember how wide the release was, and I also know that this was also around the time that. My first child was born. I wasn't going and seeing a lot of movies because I think she was very young when this came out. So at that time, at least for horror, unless I went to the theaters to see it, this isn't something I could just throw on in the living room and have a kid wander in. And I was too exhausted to stay up late to watch movies. So that might have been, but I know that I saw it within the 3 or 4 years after it came out, and just fell in love with this movie and fell in love with the energy of this movie, because it's sort of the same kind of thing. And we talked about this with Return of the Living Dead, and we've talked about this obviously with Cocaine Bear. It tickles a very specific spot in Dave, and I hadn't until this came out in 2006. The other movie that I think it's very similar to was 93. So it was almost like 10 years since Tremors is the one I'm referencing. It's very much the same kind of goofiness, the same kind of small town, tight little area with a monster and a bunch of people trying to survive. I felt like we had kind of lost that. I hadn't had a good creature feature in a long time. I'd just gotten off the burn of that piece of garbage Godzilla that Matthew Broderick was in.
Oh, that one. Ooh.
Broke my heart.
It who must not be named.
But this movie just hit me perfectly. And it is for a lot of the same stuff. Just go listen to our review of Cocaine Bear or Tremors, any of that stuff where we go into depth about creature features and what they mean to Dave. But this is, and I'm watching it in 2023, realizing this is very much the James Gunn template. I mean, this is him kind of working out the kinks, finding his voice, because this is his first directorial debut. Before this, and we've referenced it a couple times already, he had done some stuff for Troma. He had done, bumpers and PSAs and those kind of things. And then he had done a couple little TV show directorial stuff for Troma. I think he did Tromaville Cafe and some episodes on that. But this is his first movie where he wrote and directed it. And you can see him really finding kind of his little area, like his universe, his voice. It has the fast-paced, quirky dialogue that Gunn's now known for. And I cracked up now watching it after having seen all the Guardians and the Suicide Squad. Every time there was a pop music reference, I'm like, okay, this is what he does. But it's also what I remember when I first saw this movie. It was the first time that was done really well, where the The music that's in there is really well curated. It's kind of obscure, but it's also stuff that everybody knows. It's pop music, but it's obscure, like 80s and 70s.
You calling Air Supply obscure?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, for 2006, it would have been for a lot of audience, but that's something he obviously has great effects. I will totally give the CGI has aged poorly, but what I will say is I was excited to see how much practical he did do in 2006, because that was in the ham-fisted days of everybody's going CGI. Please see our conversation on The Mist, which I think this one strikes a much better balance than a movie like The Mist does on going practical when it serves the movie better to go practical, and then using CGI for the stuff that is just impractical to do practically. See what I did there? It does have a punk mentality, which Gunn has always been known for. He's always been sort of counterculture, given society the bird, kind of the way he talks and the way he thinks. And there is some offensive dialogue in there, but the offensive dialogue is in there to be offensive. It's that Troma thing. And I think you're right, Jamie. But if you've worked in the Troma universe, I have to imagine that does not leave you as an artist.
It can't. I don't think. I feel like Troma gets on you, and it's there for fucking life.
It stains you forever.
Then you're always in it. But the thing I like about Gunn, and I think this is something, Eli, that he has kept, is Gunn never takes himself too seriously. Like he is there to make fun movies and to give himself a kick at the same time he's making a movie. He's not trying to be Ari Aster and make some, and we referenced this on Nope. He's not that kind of director. He's not trying to make some bigger than life statement about humanity or anything. He's there to make a good time movie. But they're also smart at the same time. I do agree that this is a pretty believable small town. I do appreciate that for a little podunk town in South Carolina, for whatever reason, this must be like on a major interstate intersection, because they have like all 12 of the regional dialects of Southern accents in this one town. It's magical.
Elizabeth Banks is the worst.
Oh, God.
And I love her. So oh God.
Hers is rough.
She opens her mouth.
And then Jenna Fisher's isn't much better.
No, but she's at least not in it very long.
Jenna Fisher's is full Elmer Fudd almost.
But you know what? The part of that, I think is done on purpose. I think he wanted them bad. Because I think they all say squirt, and it's just crazy because they all have different dialects. Yeah. It still cracks me up. The first time you hear that when they're at the police station, he's like, "You said it looked like a squirt." He's like, "A squirt." I'm like, "What the shit?" Okay.
But I guess all that to say, what I enjoyed about it when I finally did get to see it is for Dave, it was a true return to form for creature features. Like, that was not a dead subgenre at that point. There were still a lot of really cool things they could do. And after this came out, we did get a big influx. We got the new Piranha movie, and we got, what else? I guess even things like Cabin in the Woods. You got this new influx of practical effects, creature feature kind of fun stuff. So,
well, there was that movie, I think, that came out 2 years after this that people said blatantly stole it. I think it was called The Bay, where it's that found footage where it was basically the worm that it went your throat.
But did you ever see the creatures in that? I don't.
You see the worm. It pokes out your mouth.
I couldn't remember. That was a bad. That used to be on
Chiller,
terrible. Which means you are
terrible.
You're rated about 3.4 when you're playing continuously.
It was terrible.
I remember Chiller, but
yeah, I just remember when it came out. Everybody was like, "Well, those are the same things from Slither," and the people were like, "No, because these ones stay in your throat." It's like, but
wasn't that aquatic though too? It had something to do with.
Well, they were in the bay.
They were in a water town.
And that's a real creature. That's the cool thing about the bay.
The one
terrible movie, but it's a cool creature.
Yeah, because it's basically the parasite that replaces the tongue of the fish, but
and then it controls the fish.
Right.
I didn't even
basically
that's not the movie we're here to review.
Exactly.
No, but to my point, they basically everybody has the same color as Slither and everything. People were like, wait a minute.
Well, and to that point, I think as far as new creatures, this was a cool new take on creatures. He did some smart rules, quote unquote, for this creature set. Because in effect, what we got was We got an alien invasion, we got a creature feature, and a zombie movie all in one movie.
You got. It's funny too because when you watch it on subtitles, which again I have to do because I'm old and I can't understand anything anymore. It says zombies. Anytime they're doing anything, for the record, the subtitles would say zombies shuffling or zombies moaning or zombies chasing or whatever. Like but they every time they did something, and I'm like sitting there, I go, but these aren't zombies. I mean, I get it. But like they're aliens. They're legit. But no, I mean, like not only is Rooker. Now, Rooker is a character actor. So he's, to me, I love him, but to a fault, he's so recognizable at this point that it's like even hard for him to be like, I know that's kind of what a character actor is, but now he's like so big as a character actor. It's like hard when he shows up in things because you're like, oh, Michael Rooker again. Like, I mean, he's in Guardians of the Galaxy. Like he's bigger than he's become, but he has like perfect to play this. And especially in 2006. And like your point about the creatures you get in this, his creature is just like, so silly, but in all the right ways. Like every time it evolves, the first fucking time they see it come out of like the woods and they're all just like, because like now it's not as quote unquote squid anymore. And John, I wrote down the same thing with the little squid stickers on the map because it was
awesome.
I didn't even remember that. It's like the cutest thing that they keep having squid stuff anywhere, like the stuffed animal, whatever. But when they think it's a squid and he even says, I thought it was a squid, and they're like, oh, he's moved past that or something like that. But they just like all look at it like, what the fuck is this now? And he's like sashaying his way like out of the oh my God.
Yeah, their reaction was priceless.
Every time he evolves, it just gets better somehow and sillier absurd, and grosser. And
the fact that every time he's involved, Nathan Fillion's there, and the line he says when he sees them, like he says that line when he comes out of the field, but then when he finally gets to the house and see where he's like absorbing all the other things, and he is shunting pretty much, and like just like and Nathan Fillion's reaction to him every time kills me.
And I know John had also mentioned it earlier, and it's something that like I feel like for a movie. So now I did see it in theaters, like we said. So back in the day, you saw something in theaters, then you didn't see it again for unless you got it on DVD as soon as it came out, whatever. Like you may have not seen it for years or whatever, and to the fact that who knows when the second time I saw this movie, but nothing leaves an imprint like the first time you see Brenda in that barn. I don't care who you are. I don't care how many times you've seen this movie. You could see that once and you're going to bed thinking for the rest of your life. And randomly, like you'll just be doing something. You're shopping in the grocery store one day and you'll just think, oh, fuck, remember Brenda in that barn? Like,
and she's like being so sweet, but then when she gets mad at Elizabeth Banks, calls her a bitch. Like it's just, I'm hungry, bitch. I love it.
No, nothing's better than when she asks, "Can you just hand me a piece of that possum?" Like, what the fuck?
It looks so good.
When you see her, it's so fucking. And then, like, the only thing that really sucks, and it doesn't take away, her splitting is out of control, but it's so CGI though in the beginning of it that I'm just like, but I get it. And to Dave's point, I was writing down bad CGI, but I knew everybody would like notice that. But when I was doing that, I noticed how much practical was actually in there. So it makes up for it because like Dave said, it's like really only when they can't fucking do it. Really.
Right.
Like, it's like
when you have a room full of worms.
I mean, that's Michael Rooker in makeup. That's, you know what I mean? But it's like when you have this shit that's going to explode in a room and release thousands of little slug-like wieners, like you have to do it. But her skin splitting is like so gross, but that it could be nauseating if like it wasn't so CGI. Like it's like that. It's just peak disgusting, peak trauma, if you will. But like then that's CGI. But it's fine. But still, her splitting, like I can't. Well, it's just so gross. Her body is so gross.
And Jamie, you and I have talked about this on other movies, but what I do appreciate, and I don't know, the sensibility is something that a lot of horror directors use, but I do appreciate, because this is a movie with a lot of animal horror in it, but all of the animal effects are so horrible, like the proactively
deer.
On purpose horrible.
Oh my God, that's so
there is no question this was ever a real animal, but I appreciate that because that's what I want from my creature feature. You can say deer and then I look at it and say, holy shit, that's a broom with a carpet taped to it. I'm totally cool with that. I don't need a realistic looking deer horror.
There is, though, a lot of animal death in this.
Yeah.
Like, they take it a little bit like, I mean, I'm not getting preachy or anything, but it's just like every scene is like,
it's a
there's
rural
dead
town.
animals everywhere. Like, yeah, I get it. But the scene also, at the same point, when they walk in and the dead animals are labeled, when she goes in the basement and one says like coyote with a tag, like, I'm just like.
So you would know. Yeah, the effects are so bad, they literally had to put tags on them to tell you what they were.
Well, I don't even know if it's. I think too. I think it's just the absurdity of everything. Like, I think that also helps people digest that a little bit because it's just so absurd. Like, all of it's so absurd.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
The whole movie is ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's the fun part.
So you're like, oh, there's no way this could be real.
Yeah. Well, and that's the point of a movie like this. This isn't War and Peace. This is a pulp fiction novel that you pick up and read once and pitch in. That's what it is.
With wieners running around. With
Exactly.
Mr. Garrison's wiener running around by the thousands.
Yeah, this is the year of the wiener finale that Camp Wicked Wild
this is like just wieners
everywhere.
My God.
The tentacles that comes out of his chest look straight up like dicks.
Oh yeah, and it's like
straight up like dicks. And then like if you notice every time he's like eats somebody with them or whatever, it's like sex. It's like
every time, and it's
so are they, which is absurd.
One of my favorite lines is when he attacks Fillion at the end, and he only gets one of them in, and then the other girl says, "He's got to get both of them into you to turn you into a woman." He goes, "Yay for me!" Just his response to Eli's point earlier, his response throughout the movie is fantastic.
This may be one of my favorite things. I really like Firefly, but this may be one of my favorite thing Fillion's been as well. His just every reaction and every delivering of a line he does in this movie is just perfect.
Well, it's my second to I'm an unapologetically, I sound like Eli, but unapologetically huge fan of Santa Clarita Diet, which was canceled too soon on Netflix, and he's in like the first season.
Mm-hmm.
And he also plays a head, and it's fucking like, and it's just like, I think he's in the first, but then it's not too bad because then it turns into Alan Tudyk, who we also like all love, right? I always say his last name wrong, but like anyway, so it's nice seeing him in whole body. No, he's great for this role. Just his delivery, like you said, of his like. Yeah,
I think was it the first? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's the first time he sees when Rooker changes, and he goes, "What in the holy shit?" And like you just see like the way his face drops when he says it. I just, oh my God, it's just fantastic. It's like that movie. Listen, I honestly think the reason I like watching so much is like every time you watch it, you catch either a different line or like a different reaction to somebody in the background. Because there's a lot of spots where someone says something and you'll see some like turn their head because they're going to laugh. And they just like kept it in there. And that's why it kind of reminds me of like the Holy Grail, Monty Python Holy Grail, because like it's the same thing where like it's like you'll catch these lines that on the surface, nothing looks funny. And then when you even say it, or like you look at the background, how people are reacting to it. And I'm sure like it was hard getting like serious takes all the time. They probably just kept some of them. They're just like, well, no one's God knows.
Yeah. Well, and to that point, and one of the questions I had, but as a creature feature connoisseur, I mean, this is a subgenre that I am all about and watch any of them, even the garbage ones that come out. I probably haven't seen them all, but I've seen my fair share, so I have a pretty good sense of them. What makes this movie, and we talked about it with Tremors, and we talked about it with Jaws, what makes these movies so special is that there are so many people who try and do a campy, good creature feature. But the problem is it's so rare when they actually hit that balance. And I guess my question is, why is that? Because most people either go way too over on the goofy side or they try to be too serious and they don't hit this sweet spot. Like when we talked about Tremors, that's a movie that is funny and campy its attempt was not to be funny or campy. It was to make a creature feature, which is a very dry kind of comedy. Like this movie it has all of these one-liners that we're talking about, but it's not trying to be like a goofy National Lampoon kind of thing. It's a creature feature.
You know why too? Like we said in Tremors too, is because the people making this movie, are like behind their creature. Like whatever. So in Tremors, it was like a monster. This one's an alien, but like there is like they're all in on this alien, and like they're all in and presenting you this.
They're
alien
selling it
as as like and they don't, as silly as I was calling it before and laughing at the things, like they're still not though. They're presenting him as a threat, and and just like it's just they're fully in support of what they've created here. That you get your little backstory on him, and he is So I mean they don't make him over the top goofy. His intention, everything about it is for all intents and purposes threatening. And
to your point, I think that because like a lot of times they like if you want to do something comedy like this, obviously like darker comedy, whatever, but like there was some absurd stuff about the monster, like the dick tentacles he has, and the fact that they blew out white goop, like you know what I mean? Yeah. But like it never felt like I was watching a cartoon. Whereas like I think it was a couple years after this that shitty, I think it was called Animal. I think it was called this like weird.
Oh yeah, you had a run of them. You had 8-legged freaks that came out right after.
Right,
this.
but like some of them, like they were like straight up Looney Tunes. Like they're dry humping a tree, or like they're doing like dumb shit. So like they look dumb, they're doing dumb shit. Whereas like stuff like Tremors, like the monster was like a monster, and like the funny was around it. Where this, like it was a monster. Like parts that looked funny, but like he wasn't out there tap dancing.
Yeah, they take it serious. They know they're serious, and anything they're doing is like subtly done, and it's in tongue in cheek, but it's not in your face, like you said, being slapsticky or stupid. Like there's still a purpose behind it. Yes, it might look like dicks, but you know what? It's like it's got spikes or whatever, and it's coming at you, and they're just going to present it in a way that's completely serious. If you want to see it as a dick, that's in your head. That's all on you.
Right.
But like
that was me.
They're still gonna present it as in a threatening, serious manner, and then
I hadn't thought about that, but that's a really good point. Throughout this movie, and same with Tremors, the monster is never the punchline.
No, right. And like even if you look at like a good example I have, because like they could have went this route, and I think they very smartly chose not to. Those things look like dicks, but he never once put it in somebody's mouth.
Nope.
And then like even when like the girls he was injecting that shit in, there was none like weird like insertion thing. Like everything was in the stomach. Yes. Like it stabbed you in the stomach.
Well, the slugs did jam themselves.
The slugs. But I'm talking about the actual things that look like dicks.
Oh,
like
his tentacles.
His tentacles. Like never once did like they didn't take that easy route, because like it's a monster. Like it's not going to be like.
And none of them went up butts or vaginas, or
right. That's
like,
what I mean.
None of them went anywhere sexual mouth, but like none of them went at, like to Eli's point. They never like they don't go too far with it in a comical, making it slapsticky or making it too campy, because we're gonna make all these like dick jokes and all these.
What kind of thing wants you to eat it?
like Rooker was being erotic, but it was the eroticism of satiation. Eating. Like that's where like it wasn't creepy or weird. Like you're like, oh, like this is its thing. Like fucking eating.
It was the fourth level of hell. It's gluttony. That's all this is.
Right. Whereas if you look at like other like creatures that try to do this funny thing but aren't, like they end up like it gets like weirdly over sexualized, and it slaps. Like I'll tell you a perfect series that I think it isn't really creature, but that does this is the Wrong Turn movies end up doing this. That first Wrong Turn movie was like fun and it was cool, but then with each sequel, because I think now they're on 19 or whatever, like at one point I think it was in 6 or 7, you had like the brother and sister are having sex, and like they're just killing people to wear their hair to have sex with each other, and like it's just like, and like they're laughing about it, and like they're making jokes. You're like, okay, well, all right. So like these look stupid, the jokes are stupid, and this movie's stupid. No, thank you.
It's being too campy, and it also is trying too hard to be
right. Whereas like this is just like the monster's the monster. Because even like Rooker, when he's out at that field, and like the way he's like shuffling, but then like when he like shit whips that tentacle out and cuts that guy in half. Like,
that scene is so good.
That's so naughties too. You got to cut something in half.
We know how I feel about that trope, and it's one of my fucking favorites. So.
And this was a good one when the intestines fall out.
Yeah. And the person has to think about it. You always have the moment, always, like the blinking or whatever.
Am I dead?
Because even like absorbing of the when he was absorbing other people, once again, like all those people were naked when he was absorbing them, but like not once ever it wasn't like funny or like it wasn't trying to be funny. It was like, oh, this thing's just fucking absorbing matter, right? Like they're absorbing matter, like and they're gross. To James' point, like it's just.
I have a totally random thing, but I notice it every time I watch this movie, and I don't know, and I'm just gonna like it's not even to be a point of conversation, but every time I watch this movie, I notice it. So the main cast is very small, and like whatever. So eventually, they save and I'm gonna say this word on purpose, but a teenage girl. You see this teenage girl's boob for some reason, and I can't figure out. Now, listen, I love boobs. And I'm like one of those people who I don't have a problem with really exploiting women. I'm not trying to say it like that. Exploitation is terrible. But I mean, like, I don't watch everything and just go. But for some reason, I always notice that in this movie because
it's that one scene.
Teenage girl earlier is getting yelled at for painting her nails. So you're already thought to think of her as like kind of young in a way. Not that she's as young as the younger sisters. But like, she's in school. It's just it's so weird to me that we then see her in the bath, which is kind of fine. And we get our like Freddy Krueger moment. But then like literally there's like a whip of her whole breast. And I don't know why, because
and then she's writhing around on the ground fully naked and they're so careful not to.
But they're covering. Exactly. I'm so confused. I'm just so confused by that peak of her nipple because it's either show her naked, which but it's just such a weird flash of her breasts that I know.
I think it was just
this.
I think it was just. Well, I honestly think it was because there's a bunch of scenes in here where they are direct homages. No nudity. Well, no, but like it's direct homages to other horror movies. Like the opening is Evil Dead. Like that's a direct Raimi shot. Obviously, this was Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah. There's that scene where the way she steps from like you see her behind. That's Halloween. There's like the one scene where he walked through the woods is like Friday the 13th. Like you could tell, and I honestly think because like. It's kind of like weird compared to the rest of me, and I think it was just an awkward shot, and they
couldn't edit it in a way that
it's a 1 second shot. You could have cut it.
It's just a nipple. It's like literally such a.
But like I don't know. I don't think they looked at it that way because like if I remember in the original Friday or Nightmare on Elm Street, you kind of see Heather's, but it's the same premise. Like it's just a weird, awkward.
I mean, it's not like I'm sitting here preaching like, oh,
we all know Jamie's not a prude.
Like I don't. Right. Yeah, it's just a thing that I always notice because
it is weird.
It's out of place. Like there's no other naked people in this movie. They could have very easily made like Brenda naked at one point, or they very like.
Well, technically she was
going to be naked. Yeah, I know, but we don't see anything. But I'm just saying, like they could have done the cliche or stereotypical woman naked anywhere in this movie, and then the only thing I get is this like teenage.
But see, not girl. That. Once again, not to say right or wrong, but they did. Like it was a naked teenage girl. That's been a trope in 70s, 80s horror. Which
I get that, but she wasn't naked then. Like she wasn't naked. I don't know. It's such a weird thing. Like
and even the shot where that is in there, it's not gratuitous at all.
No, it's so weird. It's just weird.
Like I said, I think like you don't want to spin on it because like if you look at a lot of his films, like he's pretty careful with that stuff.
I want to say that it was an accident, and the girl literally said, fuck it, put my name. I don't give a shit.
I mean, probably.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like it was an accident.
Send me $50,000 and you're fine.
Yeah, okay, I'm sure he was filming it in an angle where he wouldn't show anything. But it was just a weird movement.
Because like Dave said later, she's like on the floor,
writhing around,
with it, and she's literally covering every import. You know what I'm trying to say? Like all the bits. Like she's like got her arms in a weird position that you would never. If you're smashing something, your arms are like this, but she's carefully like protecting her nipples. So that nobody sees anything.
Well, how like it already tried to win her mouth. How does she know the worm thing's not going to try to like get her nipple? You don't know.
Well,
there's that.
Anyway, I just had to get it out because it was such a weird thing that I literally notice every time I watch this movie, and then I'm just like, why? I don't get it.
I'm just glad I wasn't the only one that thought it was weird. And that was my first time watching. I'm like, did that just really happen?
Yep, nipple.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you're right back into it. Yeah. It is so weird. Okay, so I'm going to introduce a question or a conversation that Jamie and I brought to the Cocaine Bear episode.
Oh.
Now that John's seen it, and Eli, you too, but John, since you hadn't seen this movie, I wanted to circle back because both Jamie and I agreed and referenced that it was obvious that Banks took a lot of the beats from this movie that she was on set with, and the style and the framing and stuff that was done on this movie, and brought it into Cocaine Bear. It has a very similar energy. What are your thoughts on that at this point? Now that you've seen it, do you see what we're talking about? I'm not asking you to like the movie. I'm asking for a response to a question you couldn't answer before of, do you see why Elizabeth was doing some of the things she did in Cocaine Bear?
I can see some of the structure in what she attempted to do it. I don't think she got within a mile of achieving what James Gunn did.
Okay.
But I see your point in terms of a lot of the structure, in terms of the kind of the storytelling.
Yeah, and the over the top scenes. Like I'm thinking of the Brenda scene compared to the ambulance scene. I mean, these are so over the tops and goofy, and they're high energy kind of scenes that you could see where she was following or picking up or paying attention to what Gunn did and bringing that to her film.
Oh, that ambulance scene is literally the best scene in that movie. Everything else,
there's only two good scenes that whole movie.
We're not relitigating Cocaine Bear. I was specifically asking.
All I'm going to say is you could see it. The problem where I think Banks, you're going to find, is the antithesis to Jordan Peele, in the sense of Jordan Peele. The times I've rewatched his movies when I've been forced to.
Who?
Jordan Peele's movies. A lot. I'm going. Just listen to me. Jordan Peele, where he does is I think he takes a lot from Hitchcock, but he makes it work. Whereas Elizabeth Banks, with Cocaine Bears, you could tell. You can tell spots she tried to copy Gunn, but she does not have the skills or the ability to do so. And maybe if she had a better script, it wouldn't. In my mind, with Cocaine Bear, it would have looked better. But it's almost the same thing as that's Gunn's bread and butter. You really shouldn't probably copy it unless you can really bring it.
I don't think she ever intended to copy or rip off what Gunn was doing, but I could see the influence of his style. She was
trying to use the ammo for it, and I just don't think she pulled it. To me, it's the same way as if someone's going to try to do use Tim Burton style, they better know what they're doing to do it, because it's not just gonna look stupid. I mean, hell, Burton recently can't halfway do his own fucking style, and he invented it.
Yeah.
So it's where it's just, I don't know. It's she tried to, but I don't think she was even in the same ballpark.
And I don't think she was trying to get in the same ballpark. That was not my point. My point was that there is an influence of one filmmaker to another that I appreciated when I saw Cocaine Bear and thought back of who Elizabeth Banks had spent a lot of times with. And I'm thinking, and we'd referenced Wet Hot American Summer. There's a lot of that kind of styling in there. There's styling from this movie in that creature feature as well. But I don't think at all Elizabeth Banks is the kind of filmmaker that is trying to become successful by doing what other people have done. I don't think that's her style.
No, maybe. And if that's I don't mean she's trying to copy, to steal that. I mean, if you look at Peele, I think because he really likes Hitchcock movies, he pulls a lot of the same tropes Hitchcock did. But I think he does it better. Whereas her, she's worked with Gunn a lot and she's inspiring off that, but I just don't think she has the skills to do so. And I think that's what hurt Cocaine Bear. Because if she's trying to make it this style, her own type of this style of movie, which in my mind, she didn't pull off very well. Whereas your two's mind, you're wrong.
I don't think anybody's arguing your incorrect position.
Whoa, how dare you? How dare you?
I do find Elizabeth Banks delightful. I wish she wasn't doing that accent in this movie, because I find her delightful. But the moment she opens her mouth in this movie, I'm just like, oh God.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Oh, I love Elizabeth. Don't get me wrong. I like Elizabeth Banks, but
I'm just bringing that up. That's all.
Yeah.
I think you may have just called her a talentless hack, Eli.
No, when it comes to directing and filmmaking, because granted, I like her character a lot on Scrubs.
She was on Scrubs?
Yeah, she was on for a couple seasons. But the episodes she directed, you could tell because they were not good as the rest of the series. I think God bless her for trying. That's your dream, direct, go for it. But I have found that anything I see that she directs, I am left very wanting.
Fair enough. She's not your style.
Not my style.
Just like Jamie and Ari. Ari will probably never make a movie that Jamie likes.
No, never. It just won't happen. It can't happen.
Fair enough. Okay, so fun question to get back on task here. I've got a couple, but my first one is, if they made a sequel to this, this would be a fun one to make a sequel to. What would
said they did?
No, I would say
said if. Yeah.
If they did a Slither 2, what would the premise be if you were pitching this to the studio?
Can this get a sequel?
I don't know if I'd want this to get a sequel.
Yeah, I feel like this is a one and done. I know you're thinking Tremors and there are 18 movies.
Exactly.
But okay, so you're saying it takes the Tremors path instead, and like,
who's the return character that's not one of the leads in this that comes back?
Well, they're all dead, unless it's a girl.
Because the people I were going to bring up are all dead. I was going to say the mayor or the whole town is dead.
Except for
so the girl, I guess.
Is the teenage girl dead though?
No, she's
the only one.
She's alive.
She's going to become our heroine.
I don't know. I would argue that she's the main character because she's the one that had the hive mind visions, which I thought was kind of
But
cool.
she wasn't main character enough. It was Elizabeth Banks and Nathan Fillion. Now this girl gets to be the what's his face.
Yeah.
Because she has the hive mind. That's the reason why.
Yeah, exactly. So now she connects with
she's
it.
the alien hunter now.
She doesn't have well, no, she doesn't. She doesn't have it. No, she doesn't have it anymore because that hive was killed.
It's a sequel, Eli. Of course she has it again. We
reset the rules.
I don't want there to be a sequel.
Well, Eli, it's because the next alien, the brother of the alien that came hasn't shown up
this
yet.
right here proves these talks right here proves why they should not do a sequel to this movie.
That alien was a scout. The mothership is still out there.
There's something bigger than Michael Rooker. Who
Don't touch it.
I'm pretty sure Dave's going to be fielding phone calls.
Slither's not getting a 2 in 2023.
Listen, you would say that, but look at all the shit they've run out of ideas for. They just keep remaking and rehashing.
They do, but Eli, most of them, they touch major properties because it's the title. Like The Exorcist is coming out. Like, for fuck's sake, everybody knows what So Slither's a movie that flew under the radar for a very long time.
Once again, I think it's got like a cult following.
It does. It does. It has a cult. So it's just like
IP is valuable again.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, it's not a movie that we have to worry about ever getting a sequel or even a reboot because it's not.
Which is why it's a fun
exactly
question.
What it needed to do, and it's got this cult following that like it doesn't warrant them remaking it. It wasn't.
I would have agreed with you after Tim Burton murdered Willy Wonka on screen for all of our viewing, but they're coming out with another fucking Willy Wonka movie.
Yeah, but you're going right against what I just said. Willy Wonka is a property that every single person knows.
Yeah.
Slither is not. There's no money in Slither.
I would say kids nowadays aren't familiar with it. I'd say
there's no money in it.
I say we get Sean Gunn in the director's seat. James Gunn will be puppeting him from the other side of the money train. And then
the heroine comes back and she's got the cognition of the alien queen, the mothership. That's
where you would
obviously the scout went wiener, so obviously the mothership. When the mother alien gets here, she's full vagina when she gets here.
And Nathan Fillion will be like the Quint character. Helping.
Why are you trying to?
No, because he's not coming back. It's like Tremors, where there's only one returning character.
There's only
a teenager.
No, Tremors 2 had 2 returning.
Yeah, we know, but we're skipping 2.
We're going
straight into the direct-to-video stuff.
So can we go Slither 3 and never have a 2?
That would be the way. That's the move, John. You're right.
Yeah, Slither 3 and pretend there was.
Oh my God, you guys are murdering one of my favorite movies.
I don't think you understand. We don't want this to happen. We're just telling you where they would go.
Listen, I just want to say to my point, right? You think we have no power here. But I literally, when we talked about 13 Ghosts, was saying they should do a mini series and that it'd be better. And what happened a week after we recorded that episode?
That did happen.
They announced that they're doing a 13 Ghost miniseries. They literally copied my idea, even though I'm pretty sure I hashtag TM'd it.
That 13 Ghost miniseries was actually in production for years.
I don't believe it because there wasn't the news. It wasn't news. Fake news. It wasn't the news until after I said it, Jamie. It wasn't in the news after I said it.
So now it's not even us. It's that Eli said it.
Well, listen. Well, no, because if they would have involved me, I would definitely involve Jamie because she acts in every.
That's right. I'm playing the naked
movies.
one.
Good luck with that, Jamie.
All of them, every role. Jamie, I think the contract Jamie and I have is my first 3 movies. She plays every role. Yeah, we have a
13
contract.
different roles.
Yeah, in every role. She's every ghost.
So you're going like ultra Rob Zombie.
I think I have to leave your face though, like your head, like you for the torso, so everybody can be like, wait a minute, is all these ghosts the same fucking person?
Are we gonna dub over Jamie's voice for the other 12 characters?
No, I'm gonna do voices.
No, she's gotta do voices for all.
Oh, so yeah, you are going ultra Rob Zombie.
Well, you just
and Jamie's his Sherry Moon.
You just mentioned
I'm not good at accents, so
no, that'll be the joke. It's like literally every character sounds exactly just like you.
You know that Rob Zombie was actually in Slither.
Mm-hmm. What?
Yeah, he's in the credits, but I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't see him.
He was a voiceover for Dr. Carl. He was one of the experts.
So he is a voice.
They were talking about.
Oh, okay.
But
well, so was Lloyd Kaufman, but Lloyd was the sad every drunk. James Gunn movie. So. Yeah.
Oh man, that town. Oh,
Lloyd Kaufman is just in everything. I am convinced that Lloyd Kaufman just shows up to any movie set. He doesn't sits there, and they're just like, oh, it's Lloyd Kaufman. Okay,
come on in.
Let's give him a scene so we can get him out of here.
Hey, where's Lloyd at? Isn't he on set today?
Oh my god,
he's always on set.
So, and this one hopefully won't break Eli the way the last one did. But I do have one last question.
Watch out, Eli.
So it's obviously very well known Hollywood news now that James Gunn is now one of the co-owners, co-creators of the DC universe. He's going to be taking the reins away from Zack for whatever this new iteration of the DC universe is going to be. So what DC character would you like to see Gunn do a similar style of movie with to Slither? Who's, something gross, body horror? Who's the DC character you're throwing at Gunn to do this same vibe?
I only love one DC character, so I'll just put her in everything.
Who's that?
Mine's Harley Quinn. So, I want animated Harley Quinn, not. He already gave us Harley Quinn and Suicide with. Listen, okay.
Well, he didn't create. In all fairness to Gunn, though,
that
character was already established.
I know, and Margot Robbie now.
So
I will watch her. No, because now Margot Robbie has now been Harley Quinn and Barbie, and this woman does no wrong.
So can she do a Harley Barbie?
Yes, of course she could. She could do anything, John. You get it. But anyway.
She can't be stopped, John.
But okay, but Eli, but I want animated Harley. I don't even care if it's Margot playing her, because you could, but I want him to take animated Harley. Give me her back.
Well, do you watch the animated Harley on HBO Max?
I have. I actually did. I'm behind now. Yes, and I thought I hated it when it started, but I actually she might be one of the few I like besides
Kylie Cuckoo, or however you say her last name. I wanted to hate it,
and I couldn't, but I'm behind. So I'm behind on it. But
you gotta watch it. There's some smart writing on that show.
There is very smart writing. In the beginning, I thought it wasn't, because it was like they were too caught up in dropping the saying "fuck this" and whatever, and being like adults. But then it, like anything, it found its lane. It got in it, and I was just like, okay. But anyway, make Harley gross, I guess. Even though they've done a little bit in or even her own movie with or whatever.
Yeah.
He didn't do it. I know he didn't do it.
Yeah. If he was starting over, honestly,
I'm always gonna pick Harley. So
I think he could do a good Constantine.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the ones I thought of.
If he made it dark as well, I don't know if Gunn hasn't made a dark movie in so long.
Yeah, that would be my problem with it. And to the point we made earlier, I think
he likes to have fun.
The fact that he doesn't take himself seriously might play against him in the Constantine.
See, I don't know,
because it's got to be black comedy for Constantine.
Which was old Gunn could probably pull it off. New Gunn,
I can't get it out.
Because I keep thinking of Guardians 3, which he's is my darkest Guardians, but
it is.
He relied heavily on the animal aspect of it.
I don't want to talk about this movie, please.
But I'm just saying,
wash it from
overall, though, it wasn't, and he copped out a lot with these fake death scenes for the main characters.
That's fair.
I that's why I think he has found such. I almost worry that he has got into his formula so. He is basically copy and paste at this point. And I think that's what frustrates me with him. Why, especially if he announced that he was doing a Slither sequel, I do not know if I'd be excited.
But is he copy? So he is copy and paste, but I want to throw something else out there. He is. I'm not trying to, but I'm going to say that every superhero movie at least, and then going further, or copy and paste of Guardians of the Galaxy. So you were doing okay, and some of them were different. Like you can't say that. I never liked it, but you can't say that the first Captain America was like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not. It doesn't have that comedic. So like we had these slightly different. Some were more funny than others. Some were more. And then you hit Guardians,
and that's the formula.
Everything became the same.
I don't know
they
if
all had to have a funny character. Like they all had a one-note character, and they all had to have a, and they was just like
the quippy guy.
No, they were kind of like
have a solid soundtrack.
No, they were kind of they were there before that because like Iron Man had Happy, Captain America.
Before, and then Guardians hit.
I'm talking about before Guardians.
Yes.
Like they were
that's
still,
what she said.
Oh yeah,
you guys are saying the same thing.
Well, I'm saying is Gunn kind of went like he took his formula and started on the Marvel formula, right? Because like I don't think Marvel.
But he enhanced it to this
for his
everybody. Yeah, so then everybody after him wanted to replicate the Guardian success, and they all became. They all became comedy. Like all the Marvel releases after that had to have this comedic.
No, because like there's a lot now. Like a lot of them went dark too. Like WandaVision was really dark.
No, I'm not counting those. Like the one. I'm not counting
even the movies like the Doctor Strange mouth of Madness.
Poopy.
The fuck was
that?
It was poopy.
Was trash.
I think DC tried to copy James Gunn, and then they couldn't do it very well. So they're like, well, fuck it, we'll just hire him because they really just want to plug and play.
To its own fault, Guardians was so successful in what it did and its tone and the audience's its reach and whatever that like there's been a lot of copying, and it might not just be James Gunn. It's that everybody wants that adult humor mixed with this like joke. Like he had hit all the right notes with it. Like we can't deny that the first Guardians was a very successful in what it did.
No, I'm not arguing that.
But you know what I'm saying. So I think everybody wanted to replicate it.
Yeah,
I think people are still replicating it.
Well, Disney and Marvel showed up and they go, give us a James Gunn movie.
Well, I'm not even
like they're ordering a McDonald's Happy Meal.
Well, I'm not even talking about
they want everybody to do it.
The Marvel cross board. I'm talking about James Gunn himself. If you look at every movie he's done since that, except for Brightburn, which then he got flack for. I don't even know what
Brightburn is.
Oh, it's basically it's this movie he did
horror.
It's like horror super,
and
it was so.
I never saw it.
Oh my god, it's really good. And then he got shit for it, and then he's like, okay, and then he went back to cookie cutter.
Isn't it like the origins of like a super villain, right?
No, it's like basically if Superman was evil, basically.
Yeah.
So
well, it's not even if Superman was hero. It's if Superman was a real human and got those powers as a kid. This is what would
Superman was an alien that too. They showed us crap.
No, that's what I'm saying. But he was a young, underdeveloped creature with unlimited power. This is how that would actually play out.
Yeah.
Right.
But you wouldn't be a Boy Scout.
Oh,
no.
Is it children? Is there children? No, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple.
And to Jamie's point, I agree. Every movie for the last 8 years or so that is in the comic universe is either a ripoff of Gunn's formula or Into the Spider-Verse. Those are the two movies that were much more successful than they were supposed to be. So we got a bunch of multiverse movies, and then we got a bunch of Gunn small ensemble cast kind of stuff. So,
all right, Dave, I'm going to answer your question finally.
Thank you.
Swamp Thing.
That's the one I'm looking forward to, and it's the first one on his docket.
Yeah,
but Swamp Thing in this universe would be perfect. I think.
Oh, I haven't even heard. Is he directing now, or is he just executive producing?
No, he's just executive producing.
Yeah, and so Swamp Thing, you're not even going to get it. Like I would like to see his Swamp Thing though.
Exactly,
James Gunn's Swamp Thing.
Yeah, this James Gunn's Swamp Thing.
No, I think you're the same problem you do with Constantine because Swamp Thing's a dark.
Now you want the Troma
black.
The original comic Swamp Thing had a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff. I mean, it dealt with some deep stuff.
He got real dark. Yeah, but he got real good when he got real dark.
Yeah, but the 70s Swamp Thing would be perfect for this.
Something for him to do. So.
I mean, I would like to see his Rogues Gallery for Batman's approach, not whatever we've been getting. That would be.
I don't want any Batman for about 20 years. Thank you.
20 more years.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like
that's why I didn't say
years,
Batman.
Then you're allowed to do.
I hate to
anything.
Gunn. They're pushing back Swamp Thing. The first one he's doing is Superman Legacy.
Oh, yay!
So it seems like they're rebooting from.
Why is everybody in love with Superman? Superman's the worst.
Why is everyone in love with
character in the world?
I love Batman.
Batman's good.
Superman. I mean, I don't like Superman, but I'm just saying, like.
And the Green Arrow is a lesser Batman, but also kind of cool.
No, he's nothing like Batman. He's
Rich
worse.
boy runs off. Lives to survive.
But terrible.
I think a James Gunn Martian Manhunter, that could be solid as well. But that's pretty much Guardians.
It's just gonna be the Guardians. And once again, like Martian Manhunter is more of a like DC's always tends to be darker. And I think like this is me, comic booky. I'm putting my comic book hat on for a second. The problem with Marvel, why DC I think has had trouble picking up, is they've tried so hard to be like Marvel with these movies and like, but then also try to be different enough. When it comes down to it, Marvel or DC was always darker than Marvel.
Yeah.
And where DC leaned
why
into, like,
I preferred
tragic,
the universe.
Me as well. But I think like they're not willing to steer into that. And like I kind of thought which I still can't believe I keep saying this, Pattinson's Batman, that like, they're going to start leaning into that. And then they came out with all the other pieces of shit, and then like Blue Beetle, and all.
Well, the problem is not that they don't want to lean into that. The problem is they put that movie out like the new Batman, and there's not a widespread audience for that. Because the widespread audience wants the Disney Marvel style.
They want Marvel, yeah. They're still.
I think if DC,
they don't want a DC movie.
I think they do if they do it right. Like that Batman, people like that Batman, and I think you're gonna find people like it more. Like
a specific group of comic book people liked it, but there wasn't. I wasn't taking my freaking 8-year-old to see that.
I hated it, but
no, like you can get the vibe where you can get dark and for young boring. Too. Like I think if DC would just go in that a little bit, I think that'd be all right. Listen, James Gunn, if you want to hire me, listen, I can steer you right. First, we're going to talk about you need to lock up Slither. Don't ever make a sequel. That's my first.
Really hit a sensitive spot for you, didn't we?
You did.
I'm going to start working on this.
I introduced you to my friend Eli. This is James Gunn's personal assistant and career navigator.
Secondly, I'd be like, listen, we need to talk about what this reboot of DC should look like.
I've got this character. Her name is Donkey Lady. Now, hear me out.
And now she's gonna hear me out. And I already have the actress in mind. Her name's Jamie.
Gosh,
I don't know if you know Jamie. Universe. She can play like 13 people in one scene. She is a master of voices.
She comes with zero experience.
I'm going to leave that part out, Jamie.
George Washington Bunny Man meets Donkey Lady meets
we already
Candy
have this
Woman.
Movie wrote. We already have this movie wrote.
The Mole King is finally
Can we go back to Slither?
Yeah.
No. This is the Mole King show.
So a couple of fun pieces of references that we haven't already covered that I thought were worth mentioning. And I didn't know this until I started looking up some of this stuff. I had no idea that Jenna Fisher and James Gunn were married when this movie was made.
Oh, yeah.
It was
I didn't
so
know
weird.
that either.
Yeah.
So crazy.
I think it was.
They married in 2000.
Yeah, and I think it was shortly after this movie that they got divorced.
Yeah,
right.
Because when she kind of exploded on The Office, and his career exploded because of this. But yeah, they were married at the time, and she wasn't supposed to be in this movie. They had an actor drop out, and they switched gender for this role and put her in it, and that's why she sounds like Elmer Fudd. That's what I'm going to tell myself to forgive her for the.
Did you ever watch Dewey Cox?
No.
Yo, it's so
she
good.
It's a really good movie, but she tries doing a Southern accent in that, and she sounds the exact same.
Oh, it's so bad, but it's like, but it plays though.
My God,
because it's comedy. Oh, yeah. Dave, treat yourself. Watch Dewey Cox.
Oh my God,
is that a movie, TV show? What is it?
It's a movie. It's basically a mocking style film of Johnny Cash and like a lot of those singers.
It's all the biopics, like Ray Charles, Johnny Cash. Remember when this was their comedy? And John C. Reilly's main character.
Yeah,
really.
Who's like basically Johnny Cash. And Jeff and I, till this day, will still randomly say, "Wrong kid died, Dewey." We say that line all the time.
Oh, the bathroom scene.
Oh my God.
With all the sinks.
Don't get any of these references. Me and Jamie are just.
No, two of us have never seen this.
You should watch it.
I will be.
But you need to watch Ray first. You need to watch Johnny Cash.
No, thank you. I don't watch those, and I'm not watching this.
Break my heart.
Dave's seen those movies, though. Dave's in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I like a good musical biopic.
Yeah, see, I don't watch any of them.
You know what, Jamie, I can understand that because I still have not watched the Elvis one because I love Elvis Presley and I'm afraid that I'll just be angry.
It's more about the Colonel than it is Elvis. Spoiler.
No one gives a shit about that asshole.
Anyway, I've got two more. The other one is in the opening scene, and I don't know if Eli saw this. In the opening scene where they're going downtown and you've got the mayor cursing and everything, there's a storefront at the end that says R.J. McCready's Funeral Home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, because they mentioned McCready again. Like there's a couple scenes later.
There's a lot of thing references.
And he says, but he even says, he talks about McCready. He says something like throwing like McCready.
I remember hearing that.
Yeah, there's a lot of line like that.
And then the last fun one, and we were talking about him, sort of a character actor hero, Michael Rooker. I mean, he's kind of famous at this point, but in that scene where he's first starting to transform and his arm becomes a tentacle, he dislocated his shoulder in that scene and didn't tell anybody and continued to shoot for the next 8 hours. And then took himself to the hospital. Yeah, that's how hardcore that dude is.
Didn't he dislocate it when he smacks it off the door, which he tells like quite clearly an accident?
He goes through the door frame.
And he like runs and you see the way he smacks it and the way that arm falls when he moves. I was like, it looks weird. And you're like, oh man,
that's some good effects.
That guy's so good. That dude seems like a real class act.
Oh, he does. He seems like he's like the greatest guy to hang out with.
And honestly, in this movie, set in a small town, a small southern town, probably northern towns too, but to see a guy with a wife 20 years younger than him, you're like, yeah, I know that guy. And Rooker plays that guy really well. I mean, he's so creepy and he's so makes your skin crawl.
Except he does not cheat on her.
No, his sugar bear.
Yeah,
he leaves somehow.
Well, did he really like not cheat on her, or was it because I see this weird goopy egg sack thing?
No, he sees the egg sack after he.
Yeah, but like who knows after
he's
a couple
guy. I'm just saying.
All I'm saying is who knows after a couple minutes he'd be like, well,
we didn't get there. I'm just saying she could, and he says, I can't do this. And then as he's starting to leave, he sees the thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, he should not have run off into the woods with a woman that's not his wife. Don't get me wrong. But
yeah, he's not a Boy Scout, but
not at all. He's not the nicest person.
Yeah. So
he's a hard read. It's so weird the way they present him before he turns. Cause like, I kind of wish more he was just all around nice, because it's like, I don't know. It's. I guess then you can't have her act. First of all, we don't need a love story, but then you can't have her and what's his name and be okay with it if like she had such a nice husband. But I don't know. It's just a weird. I kind of wish he was like a good guy before it happened, not just like. But he's not that bad either. He's just like this borderline kind
real
of
guy.
But like, I get. But
unfortunately, there's the scene where Elizabeth Banks is talking with James Gunn, who's playing this character of another teacher at the high school. And she's telling her husband, who walks up and throws his arm around her, he wants to borrow a book for some study. He goes, I know what he wants to borrow and I ain't lending it. That's a little too close to home for us small town folk. I've heard that kind of garbage before, but it just rolls off his tongue and Rooker sells it. So anyway, any other thoughts on Slither?
It's perfect. Don't touch it, Hollywood. Just leave this one alone.
Sequel coming soon.
No, I refuse.
Slither 3 coming to your DVD player.
I will not allow it. James Gunn, reach out to me. Let me help you on this.
Coming direct to Shudder.
You know how I find the xenomorphs cute.
Mm-hmm.
I also will say I giggled in cuteness when the little thing is swimming in the tub. Mm-hmm. I can't help
it. It looks like a sperm.
A little sperm, but it's just so goddamn cute, and it's got no face. It's just a slug.
Yeah, because it's got no face.
Thing. And it's just you know my rule. Dave knows my rule. Yeah. So, but like anyway, it's just swimming through the water, and I can't help but giggle at how like cute this little thing is. Like just like
even you think it's cuter than
its way to her.
You think it's cuter than the deer?
The deer is just so stupid.
I love that deer. I love that deer so much. If I could get a model of that deer to sit on my desk, I would. I love it.
The burnt, isn't it like it's like kind of burnt because it's like black and like
it's like been through hell. It's obvious. Yeah. It's like the teddy bear that somebody that's 20 still has from their childhood.
And at one point, they're literally having it punch Nathan Fillion in the neck. I laugh so hard every time.
I like at the end, though, when he literally just says, tell her how I saved you from the deer. And she just literally says, didn't they Bill? What did Bill save me from a deer? So, because they tell her how I saved you from the deer earlier. He literally brings it up.
That little exchange of thank you for saving from the deer. But when I tell that story, it's going to be
It's so good. Every line is like, there's so many good lines in this movie. I just love it so much.
Well, that leads us seamlessly into Dave's Critter Corner this week, which is on
a deer,
the white-tailed deer. Specifically, the North American white-tailed deer, which can be found in every state in the U.S. other than Alaska and Hawaii. It's in every other state in the United States. It's also in most of the southern Canadian territories. It has a lifespan of around 4 to 5 years in the wild, but about 14 years in captivity, because this is a major prey animal for predators within North America. So it is literally the cow of the woods, is what we call them, because it is there to be prey for the other predators: bears, wolves, coyotes, all that kind of stuff. Unlike dogs, here's a fun little fact: unlike dogs, white-tailed deer only wag their tails when they're frightened or startled, instead of when they're excited or happy. They only wag their tails, which is when they flag their white tails. They have good hearing and eyesight, but heavily depend on their advanced sense of smell as their major protection. So that's why you see them perk up and they're always sniffing the air, because their sense of smell is their strongest sense. They can run up to 30 miles an hour. They can jump up to 10 feet high. So they pretty agile creatures. White-tailed deer are what are called crepuscular. And I'm not being pronouncing it wrong. That's just a fancy word to say that they graze at dawn and at dusk. That's the only time of the day that they're really on the move, other than those times of day, which has not been my experience, but we'll get to that. But in the wild, because they're prey animals, they hunker down for most of the day and night. Like, they get into thickets and bed down, but they eat at dusk and at dawn. They are the smallest of all the North American deer, which includes mule deer and their black-tailed deer and those kind of things, which are much bigger than the white-tail are. And they have a 4-chambered stomach like a cow. So they will graze in the morning and at night and then go lay down and chew their cud. And that's how they do their digestion, just like a cow does. They can see better at night than at daytime, something I didn't know, but they actually have better night vision than they do day vision. They are red, green, and orange colorblind, which is the reason, and you saw it in this movie, that is the reason that hunters use blaze orange as the safety color, because deer, to deer, that's all gray. Greens, reds, oranges are all gray to a deer. But obviously we can see it, so we don't accidentally shoot each other out in the woods when we're hunting.
Some people should. I'm sorry.
And
anti-hunting.
Yes, I understand. They've last little trivia I have is they have eaten the poison ivy out of my backyard landscaping. So that's a thank you to the deer. I see them every day. They spend about 3 to 6 to 8 hours a day on my property. So I'm dealing with whitetail. Right now I have a cute little pair of twin fawns that are running around. And the other unfortunate part of that is, while mom is eating the poison ivy out of the landscaping in my backyard, apparently the fawns have been holding shindigs on my wife's hood. I noticed a couple of weeks ago, I was pulling her car out and the hood of that thing is just wrecked. It's got scratches all over it. And then I looked closely and there's these teeny little hoof prints all over the hood. No, not on the roof, not on the trunk, but right on the hood. They've been up there and just went ape on her hood. So I had to give her the bad news. So fawns are terribly cute, but they do a lot of donkey lady level damage.
I'm sorry, but that's so adorable.
I have 3 that live in my backyard because there is a thick brush on the pipe from the parkway, and they like to hunker down there at night. There's 2 does and this one fawn, and a lot of times like they'll just stare there. They don't, they're whatever. They're cool when I'm out there. Except for this fawn, now when it sees me out back, likes to make a weird snoring noise. It scares the shit out of me every time.
She's snorting at you.
Yeah, and now I'm scared to death. Like I'm gonna turn around one day and I'm gonna have to go fisticuff.
The Slither deer is going to be in your kitchen.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, ain't gonna be no Nathan Fillion situation. You just put on my dukes. Old timey boxing fight this deer.
Gonna go 1910s boxing match.
I'll do it.
Get your handlebar mustache on.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You'll think I'm in the basement of the Titanic.
So those are my little fun facts for our critter this week, the white-tailed deer. All right, Eli, what are we following up Slither with on Campfire Tales?
Aliens, slugs. What is it?
Well,
It's riff with possibilities.
Wieners.
Slugs are whatever, and like wieners. There's no like cool legends about wieners.
What about poop? We got deer poop.
There's not.
That?
Did you just say there's no cool legends about wieners? Come on, man.
About like a wiener,
dude. Free the bacon, bro.
Whoa, man. Whoa. But I figured, with this aliens and all this alien stuff going on, I figured,
this is your whole world now, isn't it?
Why not? It is. So, and because of you, I'm like, why don't we just go to the source? Why don't we talk about a crazy alien thing? Why don't we talk about Roswell, New Mexico?
Oh, okay. Ooh. All right. Is Tom DeLonge going to be joining you for a conversation?
Him and I aren't talking.
John,
I kind of think he might be involved more than he should be.
John, I don't remember weather balloon being in Slither. Did you see a weather balloon?
You son of a bitch. It wasn't a weather balloon.
No.
It was an alien. It wasn't. Listen, man, there's a guy right now on TikTok who says he works for the government. He's sounding the alarm on the spider people. There are spider people aliens here, and they're fighting
facts to this Campfire Tales.
What do you mean
Dave,
facts? I always bring
think
facts.
Eli just went ahead and got himself lost.
Yeah, he did.
Listen, you guys asked me to go out here and find the answers, and I'm out here now.
He kind of just asked you to just present what you were already doing. Let's be honest.
Listen, okay, first off, Jamie, I thought we were truths.
Apparently, we gave him permission to take off all safeties. Is what.
Listen, basically yes, because now when I'm Mary's like, are you really? Why are you like looking at stuff? Now I'd be like, oh, I got you for the show.
Yeah,
Dave told me to.
I gotta look at all this for the show. And like,
it's all Dave's fault.
And like now, like at times, like I'll be like, we'll be sitting there, at night on the couch, and like I'm like, oh my god, whoa, this is crazy. I'm looking at her explainer. She's like, I don't want to hear this. Like she's like, there's so much going on in the world. Like I don't want to hear this. And then like I've been saying stuff, and then her mom made a mistake because like she listens. She's like, Eli's gonna have to explain all this alien stuff to me. And I was like, does she want to know? Does she want to see the truth? Because she will thoroughly regret that soon.
Guaranteed. Well, fair enough. So you've got to Roswell, New Mexico, which, for all joking aside, will be a fantastic conversation. I can't wait to not at all try and derail the conversation.
Yeah, you people do every time. Even though all I'm trying to do is educate you.
All you do is love.
Prepare for
this is how we treat.
That's all I do. That's all you treat me. Like I work so hard for you guys, and not a single one of you appreciate anything that I do.
That's also true.
We do. We appreciate it by engaging. You
mean engaging by making fun of the way I talk?
If you don't feel appreciated, Eli, just know that we always try our best to thank you.
See, that's what I mean. Listen, I work very hard to try to cover my accent, and every once in a while I talk real fast. Where I grew up is a weird place because it shouldn't have an accent. It does. And so I work very hard not to have one, but every once in a while when I talk real fast, weird parts that come through. There are some words I still can't say without it. Like,
well, I know some of them.
Yeah, I don't think accents have to do with the actual words you've made up, though.
You know what?
Oh, yeah.
I talk fast, and sometimes they come out weird. Okay, like you understand? Do you know how much is in this brain, Dave? Do you know how much I don't think you people realize how much of this stuff I memorize and like these facts.
He does memorize a lot.
John,
why would you have to memorize this?
He's a performer.
How am I not supposed to bring this stuff out on the fly? We talk if I don't memorize it, right?
Okay. All right. I'm just saying you can. You have permission to free yourself.
Write it down. Like what happens if you guys are like, oh man, like the Amityville house? I'm like, listen, Ronnie DeFeo, like the real Ronnie DeFeo. Like I have to memorize this stuff so I can whip this out anytime.
Oh, okay.
Because you never know where we're going to try and take the conversation. You got to be ready for anything.
That's right.
I understand.
I'm literally ready for anything.
It's literally like a kindergarten teacher trying to teach a lesson to kids the last week of school. That's what Eli's dealing with on a regular basis.
It is.
No, or a substitute. I said last
time.
Substitute.
I just want to. I do want to say this though. Eventually, at least statistically speaking, one of us is going to be on a game show at one point in our lives.
Wait, go back. Statistically speaking, 1 in 4 people end up on a game show in their life.
Wow.
Is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm excited. So what game show we going to hit up, Jamie?
I don't know. But I'm just saying.
I don't think this is one of the facts that Eli has memorized.
Listen. I do math. Listen, all I'm saying is, and so eventually they're going to ask a
Wicked
question.
Wild field trip.
And
to
you know
Price
what's
is
going
Right.
to happen? You're like, oh man, I do remember Eli was trying to tell me this, but I was too busy making fun of the way he talks and not listening. And now I can't win $1 million.
Telling you, we'll go get
And
tickets.
you
to
know what's
Price
gonna
is
be
Right,
weird?
and we're
Yeah,
gonna
Eli will get
test this
called
theory.
down,
Yeah.
and then all of it is about like prices in a grocery, and he's like talking about
Why
aliens,
does it
and they're just
doesn't
like,
matter?
"No, sir, this is not
Listen,
relevant to the
they're
game."
gonna
It's
be
a
like
red
price.
Buick. There's no devil in it, sir.
Oh, no.
Just give us a price
Listen,
for it.
They're gonna be talking
Give me
about
the price
prices.
for this car.
And I'm gonna be like, prices. Listen, you know that it's all a sham, big grocery. I'm telling you, they take this food because they're putting in the chemical. No, that'd be me.
Excuse me, Mr.
And then they
Carey.
drag him out.
When is the alien poop going to be brought on stage so I can bid on that?
To identify.
All right.
Okay, well, on that note, if you want to hear more of this, if you want to get notifications when more of this this magical content comes out, please feel free to subscribe, rate the show on whatever podcast platform you listen to it on. If you want to learn more about us or see some of our book reviews or other content that we've produced, you can go to our website, thewickedwild.com, where we also have a little merch shop. If you want hats, shirts, or any of that kind of stuff, we've got some fun little designs on that as well. And then on social media, you've got two options: Twitter at Wicked While We Are, or Slasher, the horror only community, also at Wicked While We Are. If you're more interested in watching us have these conversations and seeing the actual expressions and hatred and fear and blind disgust on our faces, you can do that on YouTube. Just go search the Wicked Wild Podcast and you'll find us there.
Hey, and Dave, if they like and subscribe, they'll be able to hit the bell, and then they don't have to search for us. They'll just go in their queue every time they hit the bell.
Is that how it works?
Wow.
That's how that works. That way, you don't have to search for us. We'll just listen. You'll be able to see my face every week. Just show up in your queue. What more could you ask for?
It's like being haunted, but it's
By a
less
holiday miracle.
fun.
Whoa, what do you mean less fun? I'm fun.
Holiday miracle.
I'm the
Is that
fu- I'm the-
Christmas? Is
I'm
that
the fu-
Christmas
I'm the-
joy?
He
I'm
did
the
say
fun.
holiday miracle.
There's only one joy this holiday season, and it's this guy's face teaching you the truth.
Joy to the friggin' world. That's what Eli brings.
You're welcome, everybody.
If you have any questions or feedback or thoughts or any suggestions on what we could watch or put on the list, always send me an email, podcast@thewickedwild.com. And that's all I've got. But as we always say at the ending of every episode, our recommendation to you is that you get out there and get yourself lost, because it may be the only place you
You
can
can
find
hide from the
yourself.
aliens.
You know, it's been 2 years almost now.
Yeah.
And I don't think you've not stepped on the fucking end of this podcast.
Listen,
once.
you know why I do it? Because
You're an asshole?
that it is tradition, Dave. This is how I get
Yes.
my revenge every week. I step on your toes.
Just stepping on the end of it. Okay.
my
well,
revenge.
there you go, folks. Now you know.